How is that? Yeah. And now set options to yeah, access group. Okay. Oh, thank you, Bane. Okay.
I ought to know this address for Fungal Mile off by heart, but in fact I have to look it up every time
Oh,
because it's got all the details to get someone to the back of the theatre, you see. Okay, two more and then we're done. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome here today. Um, Before we get into the main subject of this interview and film premiere, yay! I'd just like to remind you that this is actually in aid of Relay for Life, and to the right of the stage, or actually as you're looking at it, to the left of the stage, between the stage and the book table, you will find a donation kiosk. And I would ask you please to share some Linden love with that for Relay for Life and as a support for the film festival and the LitFest. So thank you everyone for coming, and what we're proposing to do is I'm going to talk a little to Chantal first about her career as a cinematographer in Second Life, and then we're going to see her new film. She'll introduce it, and then we'll talk about the film. So let's start off. How did you discover Second Life, Chantal? And how did you get involved in filmmaking here?
let's see. Is my voice on? Yes. I have a touch of flu, so forgive me if I cough or if something goes wrong. Um, Good question. Thank you. It's a long time ago. I've been here for 15 years or so. And I came here after reading a book by a Dutch writer, Ilja Richter-Pfeiffer, and he wrote a book about being a woman in Second Life, which he enjoyed thoroughly. And he's a good writer, so I was really curious after reading his book. And at the time I was working for Dutch television, and I was really, really fed up with it because of the ego world and the harsh words everybody speaks and the competition. So I thought, finally, a new world where I don't need to walk around with a camera. So, of course, ended up filming here within a week, actually. So, yeah, that's so much for that.
Yeah, so much for that idea.
Yeah. It's in my blood, I guess. I've always been filming, even in nightlife when I lived in Rotterdam. I always had a camera with me. So somehow I keep doing that. And we still had a camera in the viewer back then. So it was easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, when did that go, actually?
I think within the first year that I was here, so 2007 or 8,
Hmm.
which is a pity.
Yeah. Maybe we should start a campaign to get it back.
Actually, yes, because I didn't think it was a wise decision because now we go outside of Second Life to find
Yeah,
software to record, and everything was inside back then.
that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Certainly worth a chat with Grumpety or Patch.
yeah, probably yes. Yeah.
Okay. Remind me when I'm doing my talks with the Lindens at the birthday.
Okay.
So, what was your first film? What was the first film you made in Second Life?
My first film was a 10-minute recording of the club where I worked as a greeter, TGI's club for the oldies in here. That used to be a famous dance club. And we heard that it was disappearing. So I hit the camera and recorded, well, the last 10 minutes of the club till it went all grey and poofed. And it was a terrible film, but I didn't know how to switch the hue off and how to do the audio. So it was really, really loud. It was house music. It was fun actually, but bad film.
Did you have the capacity to edit with what you recorded?
Yeah, yeah,
Could
I
you
did.
save it externally and edit?
Yes, I did. Yeah, because I had Adobe from the TV station where I worked from. We edited at home, or I could just go to the studio. So yeah, I did have that.
That's good. So, how did your filming making develop over the years? Because you've done a lot of collaborating with people, and
Yes.
you've been very important for people learning how to make machinima.
Well, I think it's in my nature to share, and when I started, it was each for their own, for themselves. Nobody shared. We were all very secretive. We hid our real life identity. You never shared emails. So it was just like little islands with people working in competition. And there were some great films coming out back then. So I looked at what other people were doing, tried to talk to them and, ask questions. And you develop when you see your own work. When you see it online, you think, oof, next time better.
Mm.
And I love working with other people. I started chatting with everybody. They must have thought me really strange back then, but it worked.
When did you start the group Machinima Monday? Because that must have been an important part of bringing in sharing.
Yes, I think that was 2011 or 2010 even. Yeah. Somebody built me a giant computer as a home, and I wanted to show it to everybody. I was living on my graphic card and all that. So more and more people came, and of course we talk about machinima.
Uh-huh.
And back then, Phelan Fairchild and Toxic Menges helped me. So it was the three girls that did the meetings every week. And we used to have an early and a late meeting. But the late meetings are now gone because back then I worked night shifts in real life. So when I
Mhm.
came home in the morning, I did a second meeting, but I can't do that anymore now. I'm retired, so no, just 1 p.m.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, all those late nights when you used to stay up doing stuff. It
Yes,
gets tougher, doesn't it, as you get older?
yes. And let's see, Ava Jean just pop in. She was one
Yeah.
of my first actors. I worked for Language Lab back then, which was a UK
Oh,
company. They hired me, and I'm sure Ava Jean helped me. There's probably more people in the audience from those days.
Lauren, were you involved then too?
I don't think Dorian. I met Fakey first, and then Dorian.
No, Lauren, I meant. Was he involved in sound in those days too?
Lauren, when did we meet? Yeah, The Joy of Music or the Little Aliens jumping. Also, we 2 episodes. That was fun. We blasted the Trump Towers. Yeah, didn't know back then. Yeah, I didn't know him.
Was there, are these early videos still online?
Yes, I think most of them are. Yeah,
Could we have a look at one? She says, awfully putting you on the spot.
I will have to look them up. Which one do you want to see?
Something early but and fun, I think.
A fun one.
Yeah, a fun early one, like Godzilla eating us.
Yeah, there were about 20 of them, weren't there? Yes. I actually found my very first one. Oh God, let's scroll past that. GIs.
Let's see the very first one. You said it was only a couple of minutes long.
Let me see. TGIs. I just saw it fly past. Yes. Going back in time. Okay. Everybody turn your mic down a little bit because it's really loud. I had no idea.
Okay.
And I'll put it in the player now. Let's see. And I was so proud of this one. So it's in the player. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1. stopped it. I couldn't listen and watch to this. Okay, there's people in the audience asking for the stream, Bane. Or let me see. I think Zemo has a stream link to Bane's stream. Because there's people that don't hear voice. Yeah, you know, in the time that we had this club, I was my kid was very young, and she used to come downstairs to say, "Oh, Mom, can you please tune it down?" Because my parents did that for 30 years or so, and then my own
Yeah.
kids started doing it. Yeah. You can see it's very early, Second Life, 2008.
Yeah.
Probably.
I was thinking the hair, the clothes, the
Yes,
avatars.
we were so sexy.
If you say so. Okay, so can we have a look at Godzilla Eats Las Vegas?
I think that's about 6 minutes, so shall I stop the player
Episode
after
2.
3?
Yeah, if you start it now, and then we'll watch that.
Yes, hopefully we see the tiny Elvises with bazookas.
Yes.
Okay. And I will try to get the stream link for people that can't see it. So, narrated by Lauren Wayland. Remember her? Yeah.
Good
A lot of
call,
old
yeah.
timers in here. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So let's watch it. 3, 2, 1.
Las Vegas, the city where dreams and nightmares are born and dashed to smithereens, where excitement and sin are mixed with completely unrealistic greed. Hold on a second. Alone, shakuhachi flute ushers in the arrival of something very, very, really very, very bad. Meanwhile, on the strip, showgirls blissfully jiggle to the relaxed rumba. As our soundtrack turns more
Great,
ominous,
huh?
Morse code signals the confirmation of impending reptilian doom.
I had no idea of the script. I was just filming what I got presented. It's cult.
Yes.
The showgirls finish off their third jiggly performance and head for the bar, gratified by the listless applause of the incoherent patrons, when suddenly, outside, we hear... Oh no! 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 It can't be! It's... Godzilla! Glorious Godzilla! Looks like the tourists will be asking for refunds this weekend. Getting into his destructive groove, Godzilla dances as he stomps. resulting in badly choreographed destruction.
I think Lauren must have written the dialogue herself.
There's a little bit of a story behind that.
A tiny terrier advances on Godzilla, intent on saving the day, until Godzilla rumbles on down the strip, searching relentlessly for Frank Sinatra. Stomped. His next victim, Wayne Newton. Stan. Oh, the humanity. Now he's seeking out Liberace.
The tiny Liberace.
Yes.
Oh dear, someone has shot Liberace with a cannon. Who would do such a thing?
It is Brida.
The village gods destroyed, Godzilla continues to wreak havoc, not even bothering to pick up the scattered gambling chips.
Oh.
As doom descends upon Sin City, intermission would be a good time for us to wonder.
Can anyone come to the rescue of this flaming den of iniquity?
That was great. Yeah.
It's actually, yeah, it's much more fun than I remember. There's a part 2. I have to look it up on my YouTube account.
That's the one with the tinies.
Yeah, with the tiny Elvises. We
Right.
did have fun. I had no clue what I was doing, but I trust Lauren and Judy completely. They asked me, can you come over? And they briefly explained, the next scene is here, the next scene is there. And I always lose directions in real life and in Second Life. So when they said to your left on the end, I used to go to the right and to the, you know, all the time at the wrong scene, but we did it. We did it. Yeah. No, this is, it's not Lauren.
It's not Lauren Tone, it's Lauren Wayland. who
Prime
used-
Lady in Second Life, yeah.
Yeah.
Such
used
a pity
to-
she left.
Yeah, she used to be a stand-up comedian. Very sort of Joan Rivers style. And she was very funny.
There's some videos on my account as well. I used to do stand-up comedy every week, and I filmed quite a few of them. So if you're
So,
ever
yeah,
bored,
Do look it up.
Look
She
it
was
I'm
very
missing too. Yeah.
funny.
He had a photograph of himself, the avatar, sexy lady in Second Life, on his dressoir in the living room. And he told me his son walked in and he said, Dad, who's that? And he said, Son, that's your father. He's so funny. But you see how Lauren and I worked well together, huh? All the audio comes from Lauren. The idea was from you too, huh, Lauren? Did you write it?
No. The piece was composed by a composer named Eric Whitaker,
Oh yeah.
who I think I first met Eric in Second Life. And Safia, was it you who was interviewing him? It was an interview he was having with somebody, and I looked him up because he does the virtual choir, which is the one where thousands of people from around the world are singing the parts in their living room, and they mix it all together. He's amazing. This was a piece that he performed when he was a master's student at University of Las Vegas, and this was part of his master's thesis.
How
Um,
wonderful.
yes, and this is before he did the virtual. It's when he was in college, and so it was just a fun romp, and it's a very well. I could go into the piece, but I'll say this: I asked permission, and I did get in touch with the publisher. They passed it up to Eric, and he said, "Okay, yeah, go ahead." And we did it, and I sent it back to him once the video was up. He hated it because I had to change a lot of the voiceover from his original to make it fit with what we could do in Second Life at the time. And so he didn't like what we did with it, but he said, "Oh, go ahead." And he didn't. He was a nice guy. He didn't particularly like it, but hey, as Chantal said, we had like illegal fun. We were laughing so much that it just
Yeah.
madness, absolute madness, but fun.
Okay, well, you've made a lot of films over the years, Chantal, but
Yes, I did.
you had a. Can I talk about the collaboration
Of course.
on the Bobbikins?
Yes. Ah, yes. I at a friend's sim, I met this guy who said, "Hello, who are you? I made R2D2." So I went like, as a proper nerd, I love and adore Star Wars. So I checked him all out because I couldn't believe the creator of R2D2 would be in Second Life, but he was genuine. And we started working together. His idea was to make children's series. And by that time, I was up for any collaboration. I loved it. He was a brilliant writer. So we started working together and we made the Bobbikins, yes. And sadly, Tony passed away before we could bring that to a big success. The book is here on the book table.
So, yes, you can. If you click on the books, you get taken to Amazon where you can buy a copy of them. And there are little bits of the Bobbikins around, but they're not sort of for public showing now, are they?
No, no. I did sign a contract with somebody after the passing of Tony in 2016, and they threatened to take me to court because they wanted to develop the Bobbikins, so I can't make it public. I do show it to people occasionally, if I trust them enough not to share it. And I'm hoping they will forget about it soon because it's still good. I sometimes watch it and I think, yeah, that was a good film.
It's good, yeah. So anyway, sadly, that didn't come to anything. But you've actually made a kind of part-time career, I think, making machinima professionally.
Yeah, I made a career of it. I work for a university in New Zealand. I can never show the work because it's private. They pay me for it. Yeah, I do assignments. I did some commercials with little snipes of machinima in it, even for a building company here in the Netherlands. That was fun. Because I can just imagine the guys with the helmets watching it and going, "What's that?" But you always have to see the fun side of it. Yeah, I made a career of it, but one of the things I'm still most proud of is the festival I ran for a couple of years. And my co-runner of the festival is in the audience. I see Zemo. I think he
Is
was
that
in the audience.
48? 48
I,
hours.
I did the 48 hour, but I also did the MMIF festival that ran in real life
Right.
and in Second Life. If he's still around, it's the dolphin avatar. And we did that together. So that was huge with a cinema and an art museum in real life in Amsterdam. And we had a homestead sim with a home-built theater. I built some golden blocks, that was all, and a lot of chairs. And there were actually 100 avatars in there. Nobody dared to move because everything would crash. The Lindens came. It was a huge success. And a year after, they gave me 4 sims with a big theater in the middle. So that tells you something. But it was so much work that I spent the whole year working on that. I couldn't do anything else anymore. So in the end, we stopped it. Never officially, so it could still reopen, but yeah. That put Second Life on the map in Holland for sure. Linden Lab wanted to open an office in Amsterdam then. Oh, Mo is there. I see Mo typing. Yeah. What are you saying, Mo? I'll read it out when you. So yeah, we did run that for 3 years, and Linden Lab did open the office and then closed it again. I think there was a change of management. Yeah. The sim didn't crash, but the underground trains crashed under the real life venue. That's true. Yeah, we heard the sirens and the ambulances for hours.
Oh,
And I
God.
thought, yeah, we're that good. Yeah, never realized it was a huge accident. Yeah. And we had monitors in front of the windows in the area, just people we knew, and they would run the promo. That was so much fun at night to see Second Life on computer monitors just in front of the windows. I was so proud, and we had flyers all through Amsterdam. It was a good time, but too much work for 2 people.
Yeah, you did an awful lot for Machinima.
And the 48 that you mentioned, that was huge. There's quite a few people here that entered it. The 48-hour film contest included Machinima at one time. And they were looking for a producer. And I thought, me. And I got it. I was so proud. And I got Mr. Peter Greenaway to be the jury. And Tony Dyson, of course, 1 year. So people did join. A lot of people joined.
And now, when we set the Film Fest competition for the Golden Wafflers, people complain that we only give them a week to make a film.
Yeah.
It used to be 48 hours, guys.
Yeah, that was 48 hours from scratch. Because you got a line and a prop and a genre, and then the bell would ring and you get 48 hours.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
plus uploading to a server in California, which is easy when you live in America, but with the connections back then in Europe, you had to do. The first year I entered it myself, I was jumping and screaming next to the computer because it went so slow, and you see that little line go, and you want it 100%, because if you're 1 second late, you're disqualified.
Right.
It's so exciting, people, to do that. Yeah.
But I think we'll still give them a week for the Wafflers, don't you think?
Yeah.
Will be kind. Because, of course, the trouble is they can't go away to a quiet region and film
Yeah.
to the Film Fest competition.
We had to build all our sets and everything, and people from all over the world were our actors. And I remember the time when somebody fell asleep in their living room and we were all shouting to the microphone, wakey, 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 wakey. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Great times. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what people have produced for this year's film festival competition, she says, looking around the auditorium fiercely. Because you're all going to put films in, aren't you?
Yeah, well, a few people hear that well.
Excellent. Deadline is midnight today, yes, Lauren.
I know
Yeah.
somebody that has 2 films.
Ooh.
Ah.
But I know someone who's got a film premiere to show today.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's have your premiere now, if you'd like to introduce it.
Yeah, I will do. I thought it was far too long since I made a proper machinima. I did the little ones that we do at Machinima Mondays. I thought, really, get on with it, do it. I see everybody make wonderful films, so I have to do one as well. And I'm very pleased to see the sim owner that gave me permission, Elvira Kitori. She's in the audience. So I just want to do a little shout out. And she doesn't have voice. I think my voice went for a second. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
The film is nearly 8 minutes, and I couldn't have done it with the guy on my left side here. You're right, because audio is just as important as the visuals. And I was so glad when Lauren said yes. I knew I would do it. It was gonna work, and it took me much longer than I thought, because you get sort of, you can't make rubbish, because so many people come and show their films and I give feedback, and then if I come up with a crappy film, I mean, you can't do that. So, and I just wanted to create an adventure. It will be a series. This is the pilot, episode 1. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's about a strong woman, a strong girl.
Okay. Do you want to load it up?
Yes. Let's see. I've got the right link. Okay, here we go. I'll count down and we watch it together. Yeah, it's in the player. 3, 2.
Once upon a time, in a far-away virtual galaxy, there was a small planet covered in snow and ice. It was a lonely place. The only person living in this icy world was a young girl named MIRDA. MIRDA had been all alone on the planet for many, many years. She was born just after her parents, who were space travellers, had settled here. The first years of her childhood were happy years, free and careless, under the protection of Mum and Dad. But the day came that her parents did not return back home. The feeling of desperation, the loneliness and the grieving when she realised it was just her now, and no matter how long she waited and how loud she called out, she was alone. Her parents never returned. In her darkest hours, she heard her mother's voice whispering in her ear, "MIRDA, my special girl, never give up. I love you. Despite the harsh and cold conditions on the planet, MIRDA managed to survive on her own. She wandered around day after day and learned to fish and hunt for her food. In her house, where she had once lived with her parents, she had everything she needed. Books, a tinderbox, blankets and other things, and her mother's clothes. Wearing them made her feel closer to both of her parents. But MIRDA was lonely. She longed for the warmth of human companionship, and the long, cold winters on the planet seemed to go on forever. She talked to the animals she met, and even though they never really answered, she imagined they did. At night, she sat outside and gazed at the stars. She fantasized about the people living there and visiting them. She would shout out, but there was never an answer, just the sound of her own voice. Then, one day, as MIRDA was out hunting for food, she heard a strange noise in the distance. At first, she thought it was just the wind, but as the sound grew louder, she followed it until she came upon a small spaceship that had crash-landed behind a snowy hill. She saw a pair of human legs sticking out from underneath it and began to pull, pull, pull. The legs belonged to a young man called Dax, who had been sent on a mission to explore the ice planet, just as her parents had once done. He was a great little explorer that kept on travelling around, always craving for the next adventure. MIRDA invited Dax back to her home, and as they quietly sat outside by the fishing lake, they told each other their life stories. MIRDA offered to show Dax around the planet, as she knew every inch of it all too well. It wasn't long until they became good friends. They spent their days walking and talking together, and MIRDA knew she had finally found the companionship she had always longed for. In the evenings, they would sit by the fireplace in her house. Dax told her about life on his own planet, a beautiful green world with forests and villages, people and animals. Time and time again, she made him tell her about his travels, and she would laugh and ask him for more stories. But MIRDA couldn't shake the feeling that their time together was limited. She knew that he would eventually go back to his ship and return to his own world. And as much as it pained her, MIRDA knew that she had to let him go. But when that day came, things took a happy turn. As Dax prepared to leave, he turned to MIRDA and whispered, "I don't want to leave you here all alone. Why don't you come with me?" MIRDA cried with joy as she said yes, and followed Dax into his ship, taking the hand that her friend offered her. She whispered goodbye for now to the planet that had been her home, and set off with Dax into the unknown. So, how did the story end? Well, it didn't. This was part 1 of the story of the lonely girl on the icy planet. Soon we will see where MIRDA and Dex went next.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Whew, it's nervous. I'm nervous. Could you believe it?
That was great. Yes,
Thank,
beautiful story.
thank you.
I loved your heroine.
Waiting for episode 2. Yes, I knew that
Yeah.
would come.
Yeah, this is taste of your own medicine for doing the same with Omega Hex. When's the next one
Yes.
coming?
Well, it depends. The thought behind this is to go sim hopping, show the beautiful locations and worlds within Second Life. People can always contact me if they come across a weird or beautiful or stunning location, and I'll take a look and ask the owner, of course. And before you know it, Mirda will have her next adventure there.
That's fantastic.
And I see Frau Ferdinand in the audience. She helped me a lot too. She did Dax, the avatar, and she did all the avatar design, I should call it. I was looking for the word, sorry. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Iggy. I know Iggy Ice Ghost in real life. He came to Second Life especially for this today. He's an old friend from Malta, a musician, producer. He worked with Gary Newman.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so nice that you came. Thank you, Richard. Yeah. Be friends with Iggy, then he might stay.
Yeah. Do stay, Iggy. We need people like you.
We do, yeah. He wrote a book about it even, so yeah. So yeah, the film, I couldn't have done it without Lauren and the help of Fau and, you know, the sim owners that kindly gave me permission.
But
And the
did
audio
you?
was such a big part of it. Yes, sorry, did you?
It's an important part. I was going to say you said Sims, so did you use more than one?
Yes, I used 2 sims. Yeah. I think it's in the credits. The first one was, let me look it up, Overland Hills. And the second one from Elvira, who's in the audience, was Echo Ridge. And Overland Hills closed down, or they did a new build.
Right.
So and it wasn't finished. The film was, I didn't have all my shots, so I was looking for a snow sim. And Fau actually sent me to Echo Ridge. Thank you, Fau. And the owner was so kind. She gave me all kind of extra permissions to res and so cooperative. Thank you.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, what's going to happen in the next one? Do you have any idea of what's going to happen?
Well, episode 2.
Yeah.
I never actually wrote a story like this before, and what I did for this one, I started with ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him to write me a short story about a lonely girl on an icy planet.
Wow.
And then a crap story came out, really bad, and I started working from then. And I saved that first Word document with the very first thing that ChatGPT did. So yeah, it was fun actually, improving it. And then while we're doing the voiceover, I ran into some errors. It wasn't in the proper. It's difficult to write a story. I don't know if you people find it easy, but you make a mistake in the wrong order or the wrong context. So it's been a learning curve. Yeah. Yeah, and the next one will go without ChatGPT. I'll just do it on my own. I'm looking for good locations, like I said, and there's plenty in Second Life. I might do one at Belisaria, who knows? I like that a lot. And I don't know if you people noticed in the audio, there was a special soundtrack in the audio. It's something that I learned at film school, and I hardly come across any filmmakers in Second Life that do this. And when I mentioned it to Lauren, he said, of course, I always do that for movies. So there's not just music and Foley and voiceover, but there's a fourth line with audio, which is so important. And it's not just the silence, it's the background noise of the location where you film. Because there's always birds flying over, or the wind, or traffic going past. And Lauren did this for me, and he really made the film come alive, even though you hardly hear it. So maybe you want to talk about that, Lauren? Tell us how important it is.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy to. Let's take this one as an example. As you say, there is what I call the tone, because it's named after me all of a sudden, I mean, come on. And kidding, but every room, every outdoor area, any environment that you are in has a tone. For this particular one, there was the breeze in the canyon. There was the breeze both day and night at the cabin area. There was, of course, indoors wind as opposed to outdoors wind. Those are quite different sounding. And for example, in the room tone, we wanted something quite warm and intimate feeling. And I did it. And then Chantal said, "Oh, well, but your fire in the fireplace sucks, so I'm putting mine in." Well, exactly
That's the
what she
only.
said, but no, but and we could do that, and no problem. That's She had a better crackling fire. So it is a matter of building the sound environment in layers. Then there's the sound of the things that are moving, which is Foley, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
underneath it all, I think probably the most important factor is the establishment of the room tone for the particular scene, and sometimes even for a particular shot, it would be heard from a different point of view.
Yeah.
And as Fakey mentioned 2 days ago, it is feeling the camera as being the point of view of the viewer.
Mhm. And I can show the timeline, the waves at a Machinima Mondays meeting if you guys like. I can
Oh,
let you listen to that track because it's brilliant. And when I silence everything, I'll make a little edit. It's really interesting because this makes a big difference. It's like some things you don't see in a movie, but you feel they are there. And it's the same with audio. You don't really hear it, but you do notice the difference. If I would take it out, the film would change.
Yes,
thing,
Chantal, I could provide you with video or pictures of the actual editing suite where I've got the audio tracks laid out. That
Oh,
oh,
might
great.
serve it as an example. But
Yeah,
you know,
great. I'll take that offer. Yes. So are there questions?
yes, audience, your turn.
No questions? I must have done something right.
You did a lot right.
Dorian is typing. and the next episode will come as quickly as possible. To render? Do you mean to render it out? I have a monster machine and I assign all my memory to Adobe. Actually, to encode it takes a long time because I was sending the files, the movie files to Lauren and just making the file, compressing it. That
Yeah.
takes a long time because I film in 4K and then compress it to HD ready. Yes, the encoding takes like 20 minutes every time for a 8-minute film. I don't have a server farm, I wish. But you know, you can see the difference. That first film that we showed earlier was done on a supermarket machine. I just bought a computer in the supermarket and started filming. So you see how that came along. I now have a very good one. I use Adobe Premiere to edit.
What do you use to film?
I use Fraps. I have 1800 gigabyte material for this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. The thing is, with Fraps, the files are very big, but you get raw material. So you can do anything with it. It's perfect. It's cinema quality. If I would put this up in 4K in a cinema, it would stand. It would stand its ground. And because I have very large hard drives, I built this computer for Machinima. I can do that, but I was pushing it. My hard drive is completely full now.
I have lots of external hard drives.
Yeah, me too. I have to write it all away because I don't want to wipe this one. Yeah. But it's 1800 something gigabyte.
Not surprised. But it
And
is worth it to get the
yeah,
fraction.
it is worth it. Yeah, it's worth investing. Also, people here in the audience, filmmakers, do back up your films because there's no guarantee that YouTube will stay or Vimeo. It can just poof one day. Never do that. Don't use that as your backup place. Always keep your files and keep your films. Keep them safe.
And make sure that they're in at least 2 locations as well. Sadly,
Yeah.
and in your final films, the stuff that you used, your rough cuts, probably are okay, but your final film should be in at least 2 places because hard drives can die as well.
Hard drives can die and your hosts can burn down, God forbid. But when I still had my day job, I had hard disks. Other girls had makeup in their locker at work. Not me. I had hard disks stacked up there. Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep the sources too, and it's proved useful. When we did the trailer for Omega Hex, Sandra was saying, well, how will we do it? And I said, well, I've got loads of stuff that we can use that, you know, we use. We just had it. We had the trailer, and we could do it, the trailer that way.
Mm.
But yeah, we always have had bad experiences, and this is why we now have good practice.
Yeah. And also remember, we are writing history. There is no virtual world that's been around for 20 years. That first film we saw, you know, about TGIs, of course it's a bad film, but it does show you that time, how it was back then. And Phelan has films that are even older because she made Machinima from the beginning. 2003, I think. Yeah. There is history there. We are important.
Yeah. So let's put the camera back in the viewer.
Yeah. I think more people would film because you don't need any technical knowledge.
Exactly. And look at the way people actually take photos, thousands of photos of Second Life.
Yeah. Active World is still active house is, but it's not as rich and easy to build, is it? I find I'm not a builder. I just hunt for locations, and of course I have a studio sim where I put sets together, but I buy them or have other people help me. And it's like Sansar. I loved Sansar for the graphics, but I couldn't do a lot there as a filmmaker. Just film stuff that other people do, and I want to make movies. I find Second Life so far is the only one that has all that. And I did film in World of Warcraft and OpenSim. Third Rock, I made a machinima with Lauren not so long ago. There's nothing like Second Life. No, not for machinima.
Do you agree, Lauren?
He says yes.
Yes, yes, I do.
Samson, Sansar was, I know it was a good concept, but it heavily depended on there being huge take up of Oculus Rift and 3D graphics. And that was basically dead in the water.
They had some good events there, but still not, they didn't use the full potential of it. Not at all. That's a pity.
It was hard to use the full potential when for a long time you couldn't even sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But we forget it. Second Life can be complicated for new people when they come in. That's a steep learning curve too.
But if you master it, it has such potential. And it has potential for internal, the people who use it to be the creatives rather than having things imposed on them.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the top of the hour.
Yep.
And this has been very interesting, and it's been so exciting to see the premiere.
Thank you.
So I'd like to thank Chantal and Lauren for joining me here. I'd like to thank all the audience, some of whom were actually part of the film too. So thank you all very much. And for the people who've just come to see it, thank you very much. Don't forget about the kiosk. The next event here is going to be, hang on a sec, happening with the rest of today.
And before you go, quickly, you can still make the movie for tonight, midnight.
Yes, you
Go
can.
and work on your movie for the contest.
There is just starting now is the formal mask ball, which will be taking place on what's its name? Bambo or Bo Bam or whatever, and Girafora. So do go along and enjoy the mask ball. It followed by the coal shop players at 6 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. Coal shop players are going to do a play presentation. Then we have the writer Elizabeth Donald, who's going to come and talk to us. Then at 5 o'clock there's a LitFest tour, and last but not least at 7 o'clock Eva Lawfield is going to give a presentation on Tricksters. So we have a busy day, and it's really
and Sophia, people are asking for the email address where they can send a link to the contest. Do you have it?
It's Fairlands Media. But actually, if you can back it up to me, that would probably be it. Just give you a moment and I'll give it you.
Yeah, quickly, Godiva. Go and finish your film. We look forward to it.
Media.
Oh, thank you, Dorian.
Let me just check that door.
I think Dorian is entering the competition, so he should know.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, you're not entering.
Oh, door!
Oh, we need to. I've been bragging about you entering it. Oh, you've already entered. Dear. Haha.
I've given the wrong address. I am such an idiot. I'm going to have to do a correction on this. I'm just waiting for the page to load.
So I shall take down the player.
Hey, hang on, let me just find this.
Mhm.
I'm giving out the wrong address and I'm so sorry.
Ah.
Sorry, my computer's running really slowly.
Ah.
But it's actually fairlands.media.productions@gmail.com. So what I'm going to do is post corrections.
Yeah, and can you type that out? Because
Yeah. So it's fairlands. It's coming now. This is the address. There we go. Fairlands.media media.productions@gmail.com, and I'm going to go and correct everything and put a notice on the Fairlands website. Sorry about that, everyone. We can't extend the deadline by 1 week, but what do you think, Chantal? Should we extend it to the end of Sunday?
If that helps people, why wouldn't we? Yeah. I'm all for it.
Okay. Great.
So 1 day extra, right?
1 day extra. Yeah. But it's completely conditional on Lauren completing and submitting a film by the end of tomorrow.
Yes, we demand.
Yes.
No, good Eva, never sleep. Sleep is for the dead. No. Us filmmakers, we don't sleep. Exactly,
Okay.
the birds don't stop singing here. I remember that.
Right. Looking at the inbox. Hasn't come through yet, or can you send a test message? Try again. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, and I had one filmmaker say, I'm sending you the link in Discord today. So
So,
I'm sure we'll accept that, won't we,
well,
Sophia?
wherever it comes, basically.
Yeah. As long as we get the links and the films, that's the,
That's the important thing.
yes.
Right. Have you sent it again, Dawn? Okay. Right. And it's already there.
Okay, Dorian, well done. Oh, good thing we spotted this. Huh?
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so where have you put it up? Because I'm actually seeing it in my viewer, the YouTube video. Have you put it up on YouTube or Vimeo? Ah, thank you.